Alright, guys, this is Acid Roots. I'm going to review the debut project from Tool, which was Opiate. It's an EP, and it came a year before Tool's Undertow album. So, really, Tool has made a lot of noise this past summer just with the fact of them dropping their Fear Inoculum project after taking off 13 years. But the reason why I wasn't I thought, this is a good thing. I was excited for it last year up until the point where they revealed the fact that it was going to be like 8, 9, and 10-minute songs. And that was kind of where I said, well, obviously with rock songs, it doesn't really fit like a single format on the radio to have rock songs last for 7, 8 minutes long. And I was kind of hoping, Metallica kind of did that also with their Before I Self Destruct. That's 50 Cent. Hardwired to Self Destruct, and the only song that was not over 4 or 5 minutes was their first single, which I forgot what that one was called. So, but it didn't seem like the hardcore of hardcore fans cared that much, and that's how you do things. That was how they did things back in the 70s and 80s. But it really is. It's more of like an exercise in listening to them than what you may care to admit. So I'm a fan of Tool, but I was kind of hoping for a more compact project, so I went with Tool's Opiate and Undertow for purchases within the past several months instead. And this project, I've been kind of talking about it here and there, but this does have charm, and that's the thing for an EP. The thing about reviewing EPs is you have to understand that even though you may get 5, 6, 7 songs, sometimes you may only like one or two, just because apart from the single, it's either filler or just half-baked songs, or maybe they're saving their charm for the album or something like that. But this project does not quite do that entirely, but I can see some of the areas where it's not a perfect EP. I definitely feel like it probably, for what it was back in 1992, it was outstanding. But it's not. It does have some tracks that I think if it would have had a second single and maybe another album cut in there that was actually kick-ass, it probably would have went perfectly. But out of 7 songs on this project, I only like 3. So that's kind of the thing. That's the thing with EPs, is it gives you a taste of what's to come, but then it's kind of, the main thing about it is it's spotty. That's the thing. It's just kind of a spotty project. So, but we'll talk about the first single. So Hush was the very first single that Tool dropped, at least on an official project. And I'm surprised that this doesn't get like plays on rock radio. It might, but I think it probably needs, more recognition, just because it has good format for a single. For this to be the first song that some folks can say that they've heard from Tool, it's a good starting point. Really, you have to think, when you think of the first song that you've heard by a band or a music artist or something like that, and you think, well, it's crap. That kind of sometimes subjugates judgment for later. But luckily, this was not a bad song. And then the very first song you hear on this album is another highlight. So Sweat was a great song to also kick off their album run. And, I kind of think, I wish that Sweat would have been the second single as opposed to the Opiate title track. Problem with Opiate was it was just too messy. Didn't really have, it just kind of bled into like song formats. It was too long, and wasn't too, I don't know, didn't really it was not very appealing. That is kind of the thing. And then I don't really like when bands will do like 2 songs in one song, because they should just make it a separate song, you know. But the third song I enjoyed was Jerk Off. Now, I wasn't necessarily thinking that live songs were going to be that good, Obviously I don't really talk about concert or live albums too often. I mean, every now and then I might say, like a good performance of some of these bands or artists, but I was surprised at the quality of this song. And that's kind of the situation there. It was an exciting, it had exciting production on there, and it kind of almost felt like a mosh song of some sorts. I mean, really, I mean, I suppose maybe not 100% mosh, but I like the energy of it. It was better than Hush, and I think Sweat could compete with it. But Jerk Off had, I like the feel to that song. So that's kind of the thing, is it just happened to be, I mean, yeah, it was, I mean, that's the kind of songs that we need to see from Tool. So obviously, me scoring this project, I'm trying to think. I mean, Opiate was a single off this project, but it actually charted higher than Hush, but I didn't, like, once again, I wasn't preferring that song, so I'm probably just going to give this EP a 5 out of 10. I would have to say, I mean, really, it's to the point, but some of these songs, like Part of Me and Cold and Ugly, they did not, I suppose, to complain about some of those. Uh, I don't know. I mean, that you could tell that they were kind of filler songs, and they didn't have like the same distinctions. Like, you know, to talk about Hush and how that is just a fluid song and kind of is memorable and easy on the ears and just very fluid and able. But some of those other ones just kind of felt like something that were just used to kind of put, to make an album out of something. And I know at the same time they were kind of saving some of the songs for, uh, their album that would come out the next year, because apparently their demo project had a bunch of songs that I don't know if they had original songs that weren't on either of those, but so, I mean, really, you'd almost think that you would have to get their demo album, Opiate, and then Undertow to kind of appreciate the full package of what they were doing at the time. Because all of those are songs basically from 1991 to 92 and stuff. So that's kind of the thing. But um, point being was that, some of these songs just weren't up to cut. I'm glad to say that I like some of the live songs. The other thing I'm glad about is just the fact that, out of 7 songs, I liked more than 2, because in some cases with EPs, you only like the one song, and it's kind of like, that's all you need. If it charts on the Billboard 100, or if it's gone like 3, 4, 5 times platinum or something, 5 million copies sold, it's like, well, what else do you want? But actually, Tool made the effort to kind of bolster this project and give it something else as a bonus. So 3 songs I recommend to you would be Sweat, Hush, and Jerk Off. So 5 out of 10. I'd give it like a 4 social, just because the seconds, there wasn't really a second single. There was another song that got spins, but didn't really have a taste for the Opiate song. So I think if they should have went with the second single, it should have been Sweat. That would have been the preferred one for me. But yeah, so 5 out of 10. It's, I mean, I don't consider that to be average, but I would have to say that it's enough to warrant a purchase. So that's more the correct term for that.